Okay, so let's get into spoilers, shall we?
Yeah, spoil the crap out of this shit.
Dun, da, da, da. Can we do a little, will there be a fanfare? Like a little confetti?
I'm going to tell you there is, but there's not.
Wait. Don't do this. Okay. So the movie starts off in what I thought was kind of I thought the beginning was a little awkward because like the first two movies they had like a little
action
Star
scene.
Trek commercial.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was like an encapsulated idea that would go on to affect the rest of the movie. And the second one, it was, you know, him stopping the volcano,
visiting that planet.
You know, but they
violating the directive.
Yeah, they at least took 5 minutes on it, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, so that was its own part, and then a part of that affected everything else, but not too terribly much. This one drops you in the story. Mm-hmm. He's got he has this ancient weapon that no longer works, and he's giving it to a bunch of Furbies. Like Furbies mixed with a sand shrew from Pokemon, and he's like, this is, you know, them showing that they're being cool and, you know, just take it, whatever. And that turns out to be a huge plot point. So this movie really hits the ground running, and in the moment it felt a little clumsy, or at least a little too fast paced, because that segment is like a minute 30. Mm-hmm. You know, he sees the thing, they're upset, action
sequence. A little humorous.
It's a little humorous, but it's also very, very fast.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't give me a moment to get settled into the characters and the really cool new costume. By the way, I love the new the actual uniform. I wish I knew what the blue one with the cape was, what that's supposed to be, because there's like 7 different uniforms.
I don't pay attention enough to even notice a difference.
To notice that there's a difference between Kirk on the bridge and Motorcycle Adventure Kirk.
What? What do you mean Motorcycle Adventure Kirk?
Talking about Motorcycle Adventure Kirk. He's got like a blue jumpsuit with like yellow accents and like there's a bit of a cape on the back.
I'm too busy staring into his eyes.
That's extremely true. By the way, can we just talk about the fact that all these guys are late 20s to early 30s, and the fact that they're about a story tall with extreme close-ups makes them look in HD makes them look 80.
It does a little bit.
We can put a little Vaseline on that lens.
Yeah, I know, right?
You know, you don't have to see their pores.
Yeah, I think what it was is J.J. Abrams toned down the lens flare, and now we're seeing.
Oh,
that's why he was using it.
That did so much sun damage to them over the course of the movies.
That's not what I meant. I meant like he was hiding how imperfect they were with the lens flare in the movie.
But nevertheless, this does turn out to be a little MacGuffin that he was trying to give these guys, and they're. Eventually, this woman shows up at their brand new space station that you hated, called Yorktown. Yeah, I thought Yorktown was really cool.
I thought it was a little extravagant, unnecessarily. It was like the practical nature of it was just nothing. Like there was nothing practical about the space station.
It's a Federation installation.
Yeah,
they live in the lap of luxury. Like basically, all of Star Trek was setting up that humanity's federation was the greatest thing ever. Of course we have the best and brightest of everything. We live in a world without an economy. Can you imagine what that's like? That you just live with everything you ever need ever? Yeah, things are going to be awesome. They would be. That's why the whole thing looks like a snowflake.
Right. Okay, I
Inside
get it.
a snow globe.
In
space!
Sure.
With green women. They're called Orions, by the way.
Mars needs women. Angry red women.
What?
That's a song.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. It's a Rob Zombie song.
Okay. Nevertheless...
I didn't sing it right. I was very monotone.
Yeah, Yorktown...
It's more like, Mars needs women. That's awful. I'm going to stop doing that.
That got a little foghorn leghorn.
Yeah, a little bit.
I say, Mars needs women. Now listen here, boy. Big angry women. All right.
I think we found our cold open.
So they go to Yorktown, and there's a woman shows up. She's an alien. They handled language really well.
Yeah, you can actually hear her talking her native language, and then it being decoded or translated with a little electronic piece, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I thought that was very cool.
And more than that, every single alien that speaks English, they explain why that's possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're very careful with it.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Her name in my mind, because I don't know what her name was in the movie, was gonna be Ears McEarface.
Yes, because she does have. She's like the ultimate
12
Ferengi.
ears.
Yeah, it's just a layered. It's like she's got gills on the side of her head.
Was she a Ferengi?
No.
Okay.
No, she's not.
Yeah, she has like the balls on her forehead.
It's just a. It's
bowling balls.
It's just their cranium.
Yeah, that.
It's not a spheroid thing that's stuck to them. It's just part of their skull.
Roundish.
Also, you rarely see Ferengi women.
Yeah.
But
because they kill them all.
Actually, not true.
I don't know what they do with them.
They keep them. They
probably trade them.
They're like third-class citizens.
They sell them.
They do sell them. No, they're third-class citizens, and they stay at home naked all day.
Like, that's right. I think I've heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually one of okay, sexist or not, it's one of the more interesting ideas in Star Trek is that Ferengis don't give their women clothing because the idea of them having clothing brings about the idea of them taking off clothing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, it's sexist and, horrifying for a culture, but it is an interesting idea.
For a fictional TV show.
For 2017. No. No, so they find this woman and a little predictable. Well, no, actually, it's not that predictable. She's a science officer on a ship, and they say that they gotta go to a nebula.
She stabs everybody in the back.
Right. She says we have to go find my crew. They're stuck in a nebula, and that takes them to this planet. And once they get to the planet, there's this evil guy named Kang, and Kang is trying to steal the thing that they had in the beginning of the movie.
I could have sworn one time they said Krang.
Right. And I was so ready to be mad at this movie in that moment. I was like, what are the odds that this woman would show up and happen to get help from not only get the help from the Federation, but also they would assign the exact ship he needed for this exact purpose. How much Deus Ex Machina do I need to see in this film? And then, it's in the second act. They explain it. They explain the whole thing, that he's been using probes to piggyback on communication signals from the Federation the entire time, and it's super cool because they bothered to close the logical loop, and that pretty much sums up this movie for me in a nutshell. It closes its logical loops. It explains itself, except in one instance.
Which was?
Oh, come on.
What? I don't remember.
Oh, I can't stand it! You must have planned it!
Oh, that!
And I can't see nothing when I'm in here, cause the crystal ball ain't so crystal clear!
Sabotage!
Would you like to take this one, Johnny?
Sure! So, this one, it was...
Do you remember it's VHF?
VHF.
VHF,
I kept saying...
VHS.
VHS,
yeah.
It was VHF signal, right? That they basically found was what would work if they okay, so everyone at least has seen the trailers. The little ships that fly into they basically break apart in their little mini ships, and they rip apart the spaceship.
Yes, spaceship. Spaceship brand adventure product.
Oh my god, no,
So the little ships, they're like bullets. They don't even have lasers. They just ram into stuff really fast, and there's a bunch of them.
Yes. But they tore up the oh my god,
the
this is
Enterprise?
Yes. Yes, I was so embarrassing. I didn't want you to say it. I had it, but that was terribly embarrassing. Yes, the goddamn Enterprise. They rip it apart, and it's got all the little ships. But so they're saying their weakness must be to their communication, because that's how they can move in unison and do the things they do.
Once again, going back to the theme of unity.
Right.
All these ships are stronger together. How do we rip them apart?
Yeah, and that's tear down their communication, or basically create the VHF. VHS or VHF. It's VHF.
It's a VHF signal. It's
so
an old radio
so
signal.
it's basically just thrown out there through all these ships, and it basically clouds their communication, so they can't communicate because because the Beastie Boys are screaming into their headphones.
I don't think it had a single thing to do with the song.
No, it didn't.
I think it was that the intention, because no mention is made. Okay, a little bit of mention is made to the song, but like they talk about how this VHF signal is a signal that they're not going to be able to anticipate because it's an old kind of technology.
Right. That was the idea. Was that it was old technology. My whole point, and what I didn't understand, is like, fine, if that's a thing, fine, whatever, because that can't happen when you use something like that happens like in the world of hacking sometimes.
Yeah, and
like people can get around newer technology by using older technology. But my whole argument was, what made it ridiculous is that why the fuck would even the VHF even be on the Enterprise? Or no, sorry, the Franklin.
Yeah, because they have a ship that's from the Jonathan Archer days, approximately 100 years in our future. Yeah. Which I think it's 250 years is where is the events of the movie.
And so this is like,
why it's there is because
this is like buying a new car today. And having a cassette deck installed in the car.
Yeah, people do that.
No, they don't.
In fact, okay, and also
not in this country. They don't.
The Franklin. Hold on.
Was there a tape deck in Jay's car?
Hey Jay. Hey Jay. Jay? She must have already got it.
Yeah, she probably went to Jessica.
Okay, the Enterprise, the Enterprise when Jonathan Archer was captain had a crew of like 90. We're talking about 90 different personalities here.
Yeah.
Okay. Some people brought on a lot of different stuff. If I were serving on a deep space mission in excess of 2 years, I might bring my PlayStation 2. I might bring a
it would be smarter to buy a more compact computer system that can have an emulator to play any video game you want, because that makes more sense.
I don't do that.
It makes more sense, though.
Yeah, but here's what I'm saying is that people don't always do it make sense. Sometimes people preserve pieces of history for the sake of doing so.
Yeah.
So we can have this technology on the Franklin. It's fine.
But if you're preserving technology, I wouldn't take it out on a starship and go across the galaxy with it. That doesn't make any sense to me. Like, put it in a fucking museum if you want to preserve it. And that also goes for the damn motorcycle that's in the movie.
Not everything.
Stupid.
Not everything.
Stupid.
Not everything is museum worthy. My PlayStation 2 isn't museum worthy.
It will be one day.
No.
Yeah, it will.
No. That will be a brand new one that PlayStation never released. It'll be like a prototype. Or, you know what? It won't be one at all. It'll be a sculpture of one or a gutted one. That's what it's going to be like. So, people keep these old things around. The real problem with this is that in no way, shape, or form did any of the writing suggest that breaking down their communication would cause the ships to explode.
Which is what they did.
They blew up.
Now, I was thinking about this, and I was trying to think if there were any reasoning that they would have that would have made sense. The only thing I can think of that maybe the writers or at least the people doing the visuals of the movie may have thought is that maybe they're running into each other. But that doesn't make any sense because these things were ramming machines. They were made and if they're made out of the same materials, they're not going to explode like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, like not the Franklin, Yorktown, it releases the signal as well, and it creates this tremendous fireball all around themselves.
Right.
In addition to that, the only ones that are blowing up are the ones near the Enterprise. Which, if it were hitting the Enterprise, it would be demolishing it because they already showed they would do it. What I think happened is one of two things: either the one of the producers, I'm not going to say who. I can't, because there were a lot of producers for this movie, or a studio executive could have said, we need to have this part of the movie be a little bit more action-packed. Let's make them blow up instead of ram into one another. Also, a lot of different animations explaining how they ram into one another may have been more expensive. And it definitely would have taken more time.
And a lot of this probably all happened at post-filming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because once again, the writing doesn't make any mention. It doesn't. No one even looks out the window and says, "Ha, they're blowing up."
Right.
It's like the visual effects and the writing were separate.
Because the alternative, right, is that if they didn't have them explode or have them whatever, then they would have had a sequence where, so now they're disoriented. Now we can fire at them and kill them. So they would have needed a fleet to do that. And I don't think that was in the movie. That hadn't been established that there was much of a fleet at Yorktown. Or was there?
There were some other ships there.
There aren't a lot of them, though.
There aren't a lot of details given to us about York. There aren't a lot of specifics given to us about Yorktown until the very end, which is all about the air conditioner. So, because what we're describing is only one of the, like...
Powered by gravity.
I think it's one of 3 conflict resolutions in this movie. Like, the last action sequence takes place over the course of, like, 3 big battles. And what's kind of genius about it is that they never get stale. I was watching this huge, dumb action sequence, and I was like, well, gosh, now that that's done, go take care of the thing, because I'm still worried about that thing.
Right. Now, so that's something I wanted to bring up, and I needed to ask you this, and maybe other people have this question too. So, one of the bigger spoilers, so if you really don't want spoilers, tune out at this point, but the major spoiler was that the bad guy was actually a human? Was
Archibald Edison.
Yeah, and he was a captain of a ship.
The Franklin.
Yeah, the Franklin that got stranded there. And it may have been these parts I was falling asleep during, so I want some clarification.
Okay.
The video that they shows them being rescued.
He says one of the crewmen is standing in front of him, and I used to know this actor's name. He's a pretty prominent actor.
Yeah.
But I can't think of it right now. Somebody says it's about damn time.
Right.
That could have easily been a communication, and a false one at that.
Okay.
Yeah. That is left ambiguous.
Okay. Now, why did he morph into what is Krang?
He explained. So this guy, he was the captain of the Franklin. That's 150 years in the past from the events of the story, and there is technology that they don't get into. It is a weakness of the movie that they don't talk about it, but there is
basically where he gets his regenerative properties.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He drains from others and he takes on properties of them, which is why in the last bit,
so it was an alien that he took from.
He takes from 2 humans. And he becomes essentially fully human again before fighting Kirk in the air conditioner. Because his weapon of mass destruction is this ink cloud that apparently can take up any volume and kill all biomatter in that space. And so he's going to throw it in the AC.
Which by no mistake acts very similar to the Hive, the spaceships.
Yeah,
they act very similar.
I actually didn't think about it. I thought it was just a space fart.
They're the worst.
So, predictably, Kirk takes him out. There isn't too much tension in that, considering the fact that in the final fight between Kang and Kirk in the air conditioner, Kirk shoots him twice. Like, there's 2 times where he surprises Kang, or Archibald, and he shoots him. Archibald goes down. He didn't stun him enough to, like, stop him, so he was just kind of, like, still talking to him. And then Kirk's like, I'm gonna go save the world. Don't move! And then Kang moves.
Yeah.
And then they do it again. Yeah. He shoots him again.
Kang. Now, that's another question I have. Why did he change his name to Kang? Or was that because he lost his mind?
It may have been it may have been all the communication that he's doing. Maybe he wanted to keep his identity a secret.
Yeah, and that's the thing I was talking about earlier about the full circle thing is that what they kind of allude to is that he kind of suffered from almost like a PTSD type of thing.
Oh, definitely.
And it was
he felt like he didn't have a place
right
in civilian society,
which is almost what. Which is,
a lot of soldiers really do go through that.
Oh, absolutely. But there's a parallel, I believe, with the way he was feeling, although it was an extreme, about the way that Kirk was feeling at the beginning of the movie. Like, you're alone out there. You're the captain. You're the sole person. You're responsible for all this. But and you're out there in the vastness of space, and it's enough to make you go mad. It would make I couldn't do it. But anyway, I thought that was the really cool full circle moment.
They call it the Cosmo Crazes.
They don't call it that.
That's going to be a Patreon exclusive.
Just that one clip that you just
did?
Which we do have a Patreon, by the way, still.
That's all it gets.
Yeah.
No, we may talk about it, but by the
end. No, we don't have to worry about it right now. That's
fine. Kirk shoots him a couple of times. They wind up throwing him out into space. they don't close. They don't. There are logical loops that don't get closed. I know I praised the movie for it, but like now the MacGuffin's out in space. So are we not going to worry about it then? But then again,
you just retrieve it.
Yeah, it's not that big a deal. Them not blowing up your
the Klingons aren't going to float by and take it and then.
Yeah.
That's like a very 90s sequel bait.
And that essentially is Star Trek. I think that the thing that I'm impressed about it the most is just the care that went in to utilizing the universe. And in any given movie where you're doing a new narrative, it's not going to be like a Star Wars expanded universe novel where, ooh, we're making the Death Star again. No, they're going forward with something that's their own, but they still paid homage to stuff that came before. Like even Edison talks about the Xindi Wars, which is stuff that happened in one of the least popular of the Star Trek shows, but it was an important event in the universe that they still keep in.
Now here's something I'm actually worried about. I feel like this movie, for Star Trek fans of the new series of movies, I think would be most appreciated by Star Trek fans. Like that's on but I think at the same time it's the one that's actually open to the smallest crowds and won't do as well.
Yes, that's true.
So that worries me a little bit because I think Simon Pegg knew what he was doing and he made a decent movie, but they may try to go in a different direction, try to overcorrect the path that he's trying to set the rest of the movies on. Mm-hmm. And I think that's messed up.
Like, did you read anything about the box office receipts today? Because I know there was like nobody in our theater, which was extremely surprising to me.
And also the buzz wasn't there. Nobody was talking about this movie. I didn't know it came out yesterday until we sat down and we saw an advertisement online, and you said, "Oh, we need to go to that movie." So yeah, let's look at the movie times.
I saw an advertisement online. Sueña, te we, te whoa.
Yeah.
I saw an advertisement online, and it was super ambiguous about when it was coming out.
Right.
That was the thing. I was like, "Oh, Star Trek's coming out," and like I think it was Jay who was like, "No, it is out."
Right.
And then when I came here and we saw it, I was like, "Oh, we have to see that movie. It's out." And then you looked it up and it was like, "No, it's coming out tonight."
Tonight is the debut, the release. There was maybe not even 24 people in our theater.
No, there was not. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so I can't explain it. I thought that people really liked Into Darkness. I know I really liked Into Darkness.
Part of it might be just that these movies are being overshadowed by kind of the year of the superhero. I mean, the newer.
I've never really separated it.
I do.
Captain Kirk's a superhero.
I do. I mean, if I had a choice, yeah, he kind of is, but
he's a superhero.
Okay, fine. He's the super captain. But Picard is better. So what I'm trying to say is that I don't know. I think it may have gotten overshadowed. I mean, there's a lot of video game. There's a lot of superhero movies coming out. I mean, right around the corner is Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, also I think that timing has a little bit to do with it because we're like right at the end of summer blockbuster season.
Right.
And and I think that a lot of people were even disillusioned. I haven't made any secrets about it that I didn't like the new Captain America movie.
Right.
And I think that lots of people really liked that movie because they had just seen a really bad superhero movie in Batman v Superman. And so,
which is a great superhero movie, actually. I got the Ultimate Edition on my table in the living room.
It's not as bad as people like to say, but then again, Captain America isn't as good as people like to say.
That's true.
I don't know. So I think that we're getting to this point where we see so many movies coming out now, and it's a little trivialized by the DVD market because they come out so quickly. It used to be if you saw a movie that you really wanted to see, you saw a preview, you wouldn't say, "Oh, I'll wait for the home video," because that will be in 2 years.
Right.
Now it comes out that afternoon.
Right. Yeah. Practically.
So I don't know. There may be a long tail. I know that I would love to be one of the reasons that you guys go and see the movie, because it does have a recommendation from me. I think it's the best Star Wars movie that J.J. Abrams has been attached to so far. Simon, we keep forgetting that 2 people wrote this movie.
Yeah, Simon Pegg.
Simon Pegg,
yeah.
and there's another one, and we need to have like a special.
Steve Yang.
Steve, was it?
No, I made that up. I just know it's a slightly Asian name.
It is. That does start with a Y. We need to have like a tribute to that individual at the end of this.
Sure, we'll give him his props.
Yeah.
And if you're lukewarm on Star Trek in general, or the first 2 movies that J.J. Abrams was attached to, like I was. I'm not huge on Star Trek. I appreciate Star Trek. I would suggest go seeing it anyway, also because it's different. You might like this one more than the first 2. And it's going to be a different experience completely. I mean, they're trying something new. Go try it and see if you like it.
And with that, I think it's time to say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
Hey, and if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe as you sign up. You sign up at warlocksentertainment.com. At warlocksentertainment.com, you can subscribe to our mailing list.
Yeah. There's a form. Yes. You want to click the Be a Warlock link, and it's got a form there. It actually helps us out a lot. We're putting some extra questions in there that are optional that actually help us out with figuring out what we're going to do. You know, it really does. Just fill that out. We will send you a little prize. You're going to be awesome by doing that. We love you.
So sign up at warlocksentertainment.com and become a warlock.
Did you just turn into a... Did you just turn into a Murloc?
Oh,
you made a mess.
Dun, 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 dun.